we're also very minimalist people. All of our decor and stuff there isn't much in our apartment, so we really like that really clean style, I guess. Yeah, just
Yeah, I'm the
big Lord
same
of the
way.
Rings fans for sure.
I've only got the one thing hanging behind me, but
What
hopefully we solve
what
that one day.
what is it? Oh, you don't
It,
want to
oh,
say.
it, it's an old concert poster. So like
Nice.
some friends of mine played a show, and they made a really nice like flyer for the show, like professionally done, and I just saved one and framed it.
Nice, very nice.
Are you like Lord of the Rings purist, or do you throw The Hobbit into the mix as well?
Mostly Lord of the Rings, but I do every time I watch Lord of the Rings, I also watch The Hobbit
Yeah.
in there. I do love The Hobbit too. I guess I'm just not the biggest fan of the shows doing prequels. Like all the shows
Oh yeah.
nowadays, they all come out with bangers, and then they do whatever was the story that was before. Just like we're a big fan of Game of Thrones too. They did the same with
Yeah.
House of Dragon, and I'm like, I mean, it's cool, but like then I know what's happening after this already because I've seen Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings, so I know what's happening after the Hobbit. So like I want to know what's happening after. So
Yeah.
I do like the Hobbit, but not as much as Lord of the Rings, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. I used to know which one got written first. I can't believe, without looking it up, I can't think about it. I think The Hobbit got written first, right? And then The Lord of the Rings. But of course, the movies didn't go that way.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you honestly. I'm really into the movies, but usually all of the more detailed infos and stuff are in the books, which I don't really read much. So
Gotcha. You never read the books?
no, I'm
Oh
just
wow,
movies and series really.
wow, interesting, interesting.
Yeah,
They are good books. I
I'm sure. I'm
read
sure.
them as a kid. Haven't read them lately. In 2020, whatever, you just don't. People don't read books anymore. We just read the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Just read TikTok.
Well, hey, you party people. Welcome to another episode of Ned Consumes the World. Today we're joined by Romsy. Really excited to have Romsy on. Thanks for joining, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Super excited for this.
Right on, man. You just had a banger of a video. You had chosen one to essentially rate your tier list.
Yeah, yeah. The goal of the video was kind of at first I just wanted to know, what is your top five or your top 10, and it kind of evolved on that. Okay, that's your top five, but also what do you think of? Because the week before, all the content creators kind of made a tier list, basically.
Hmm.
So then I was like, kind of like, hey, what do you think of those tier lists? And then give me your opinion on your top five or whatever, which we kind of didn't agree on a lot of it, but it was
Yeah.
fun. It's part of it.
Did he change your mind on anything?
Not drastically, but there was a few things that I did change up, Son Yukong and a couple heroes
Mm.
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on Hercules. I don't think Hercules is in the top five. I get what Brad was saying. The Immortal, the AOE A1, but those are like, I mean, I feel like he's thinking PvP specifically, and there's so many other modes.
Yeah, I think he was really ranking Son Yukong and Hercules that high also because of the passives,
Mm.
which they both have similar passives to where they basically get a free life, which I agree is amazing. But also we'll be able to get some of that with the imprint. Uh, and I also look at the rest of the kit, not just the passive. So, I also value the support champions a bit more, especially at the beginning.
Hmm.
So yeah, we kind of didn't agree on all of it, but as the conversation went on, I understood some of his points, and he understood some of mine on the ranking and stuff. So pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And the rest of us have to wonder like how much he knows that we don't know.
That's
And
the thing
like,
too, and that's kind of why I was asking because I was like,
yeah.
I'm sure you know more than we do. You know what the main thing was. What kind of in Raid Shadow Legends, for instance, when you start the game, you have to go through campaign, and then you spend month farming dragon, basically. I mean,
Hmm.
that's all you do is dragon, dragon, dragon. So if it's the same scenario with Godforge or it's something similar, then it's like, well, I know I want to focus on some specific champion to do dragon, dragon all day. You know what I mean? So, but we don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we don't know. We were just did a video with Papatez and Adam that we're working on, and one of the topics that came up was Lamashtu. And Lamashtu's kit is so strange because it completely revolves around blowing up dead champions, right? So like he has to get or she has to get a kill, and then that kill has to like proc for the kit to make any sense at all. And so outside of what we saw in the alpha, outside of wave-based content, you have to assume that they're going to make something like a spider boss, right? Something that revolves around constant minion death.
Absolutely, yeah. But all those champions that have conditions or they need to do something so that then they become strong. These are the champions that kind of stay away as much as I can at first. Until they became, a lot of time those champions become S tier, and like you said, if it's some type of spider champion, spider boss, it may just become S tier in that one specific content, but it'll be for later for sure. But they are, when I played Alpha, I had my first legendary was Anubis, and it's kind of the same where he becomes really good if he start killing champions, and usually you're gonna require a lot of setup where you probably need defense down champion in your team and probably another damage dealer in the team as well. And then you want to come up with those champions to finish off whatever's left, and then they get stronger as it goes. But it's usually kind of hard to set up, especially early game, I think. So kind of staying away from those for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, those would be highly conditional champions would not be on my short list. My priority is fun.
Yep.
And then strategy, which is quite a bit different from most people.
Yeah. And design too, I think it's very important. For a lot of people, the look of the champion is very important. So.
Yeah. Like you talked about it with Brad a little bit, how good Freya looks in terms of like, I think somebody has to have done like a skin tier list, right? I feel like
I'm sure. I think someone asked me. I think on that video somebody asked, "Hey, can you ask the Raven Pyro's website guy to do a tier list just so we can rank the look of the champions?"
Yeah.
Really cool.
I haven't done a tier list video, and everybody's doing them, which is why I haven't done one. But I have kind of a desire to do my fun tier list, but I could totally see the how cool do they look tier list.
Yeah, and I actually waited a while. I think I was probably one of the last one doing a tier list because I was like, tier lists are so. I think tier lists are not super relevant just because right now a lot of things are still changing. I made one just because I was like, well, I'm making content on Godforge, so I'm gonna do like everybody else. I'm gonna do one, but it's not super relevant right now. I mean, it's a good indicator to know which champions to look for in the mini game, but so many things are changing, and again, because we don't know what the content is actually going to be like, really, it's hard to make it super relevant, really.
Did you play all three alphas? Which alphas did you play?
All three, but really the first two I just barely played, really just
Gotcha.
a couple hours. Now with three, they were like, hey, if you finish it, you get that coin. I was like, okay, I want to spend some time. And I probably finished it on like the last day or something. But it was fun. We got a couple waves, I think 120 or 130 there were a couple waves where a little tough at the end, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if you don't have those, though, where you hit a brick wall for a little bit, then it just all feels too easy.
Oh, 100%.
Well, tell me a little bit about your content creator life, because when I first saw you was on the big video that Fateless did where they had all of us, say something for 30 seconds. And the thing that immediately stuck out to me was that you said you started in French and then immediately went into, but I'm doing an English channel. And when I looked at your channel, you're darn close to 1,000 subs right now. Like you're 990 something or 980 something.
Yeah.
And I was really excited. I was like, okay, cool. Romsy's about to break 1,000. But then I looked up your French raid channel. You got like 15,000 subs, and I'm like, oh, this dude's not a smaller CC. I was completely mistaken.
Yeah. Actually, I posted a video yesterday explaining why I'm kind of just focusing on Godforge and stopping raid completely. And I gained like, I don't know, 50 followers yesterday overnight
wow.
from that subscribers from that video. So I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, I'm actually like, in a couple hours, I'm probably going to get to my 1,000 subscribers, which
Yeah.
is kind of a soft goal, before the game launches, and we still have a month. So pretty pumped about it for sure. But yeah, I started, I actually moved to the US. I'm originally from France. I moved to the US back in 2018. And with immigration, for an entire year, I wasn't allowed to work because you have to work on you have to wait on a work permit. And I came here through marriage. My wife is American. She's from Texas. But basically you have to, within a few months, they should give you a work permit before you get your green card. But everything was so backed up back in 2018 that the work permit came in a year later once I got my green card, which at that point it's useless because I have my green card, so I'm allowed to work now.
Yeah.
So for an entire year, I was like, I ain't got nothing to do, really. I just finished my school back in France, and I came here and nothing else to do. And that was right at the time where Raid came out. So I was like, I'm just gonna have fun, spend some time, doing a little YouTube channel and see how it goes. And I started in French back then, probably a big mistake, but it was fun. Been doing it for 6 years just for fun. And now, Godforge is coming out, and I'm sure it's going to be very successful. So I just don't want to make that mistake again of sticking with French, and I'm going with English. Just much bigger opportunities there. So yeah.
I don't know the French raid content creators. Are you like number one, or are you top 5?
Yeah, there's only like 3 of us that are kind of the main 3, really. Then there's a couple smaller ones, but there was one French that started before me, but he stopped years ago. So I'm kind of the oldest one, I guess, that's still active in posting content. And in terms of subscribers, yeah, I'm kind of the biggest. So it's kind of like there's one other guy that's right, the same as me, basically. The others have way less subscribers, but the audience is just very small. Back then when the game came out, they were spending millions and millions in marketing. So there was, subscribers came quicker and there was more views for sure. But now it's pretty niche, in French there's not that many players anymore for sure.
Were they marketing and advertising in French?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the main focus for them was always Eastern Europe, I think Russia probably, and then the US. But they did do a bunch of campaign, and they worked with a bunch of influencers in France as well for a while, yeah.
So you started essentially what some could consider the most successful French raid channel from the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, right now I have a good PC and all that stuff. But back then it was, I had a MacBook Pro actually. So I would have my MacBook Pro, play the game on the MacBook. I would actually play on my phone. I would play on my phone, on my iPhone that was plugged into the MacBook. And in the MacBook, you can do a screen recording. So I would do a screen recording of my phone. So as I'm recording a video, I'm playing on my phone, which is recording on my MacBook. And then I didn't have a webcam or anything. I just had a photographer camera with a mic built in on top of it. So I would just have a tripod with a camera there. And then I would have to go in on whatever software I was using back then and line up my voice from the mic, from the external camera, to the video of what I was doing and my face. And it was a shit show back then. It was terrible. I deleted all of my 2018 videos because they were so bad, honestly. But fun time for sure.
When did you start using something like OBS? Was that like years in, or did you rapidly figure out that this was
No, it was
not the way to go?
couple years in, because back then, again, I wasn't allowed to work, and we were living at my in-laws' place, so we just had a small room, so I didn't have a whole setup or anything. Took me probably until I moved to Austin, really. I think I eventually bought like a gaming laptop, which was a bit easier. I don't think I was using OBS. I can't remember what I was doing then, but it got a little easier. But really, I didn't upgrade everything until 2022, probably when I moved to Austin. So, yeah.
Wow.
So easy now. Just OBS, record, good to go.
It is. It's easier than I thought it was going to be, which makes me feel bad that I never, tried doing anything like this years ago.
Yeah.
But no, the best time to start was yesterday, right? That's what
Exactly.
you can consistently say. Well, are you going to keep doing anything with Raid after Godforge launches?
Probably not. Reason is originally, and I'm sure we can talk about other games later, but originally Raid and mobile game whenever, I always had a mobile game on. I played a Star Wars Heroes way back then, which was
Yeah.
also kind of a hero collector mobile game, which I really liked. Played completely free to play back then, but I was never a big gamer. I'm a lot more into fitness and all that stuff. But I did play. I did play a lot of PlayStation and those games, and that's more what I kind of wanting to make content on for a long time. But again, it required such a big PC and setup that I couldn't do it. And I just realized because also on my French Raid channel, I'm also a big fan of Destiny 2, which I haven't played in a while now just because of lack of time. But I've also made a lot of content on Destiny 2 on that channel. So for probably all of 2023 or 2024, half of my content was Raid and the other half was Destiny 2, basically.
Interesting.
It was kind of a clear, like, hey, that channel is going to be those two games, and those two games, they have nothing to do with each other, different genre, but this is going to be my channel, those two games. And it did really well, actually. Destiny 2 was attracting a lot of viewers and stuff, but it just takes so much time to play actual video games that are not on mobile, because now what I do basically is I play Raid on my couch in the evening while I'm watching TV. And then when I need to make a video or I need to do something that requires a bit more focus, I can just come to my PC and do it, and it's easy, The other games, like Destiny 2, I also played Elden Ring a lot. You have to spend hours and hours playing the game to do a quest or whatever it is, and then record the whole thing, edit the whole thing. Editing for those types of games is super long too. Well, any Godforge or Raid video, it's click record. You don't have to edit anything in terms of video editing. It's super easy. So definitely went away from those type of games just because of lack of time. So back to your question, sorry, I probably won't be doing Raid anymore. Just because of the timing, I also have a full-time job, so I'm doing this for fun. If it grows to something more significant, we'll see. But as of now, it's just for fun. So Godforge will be enough, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be tough to do both, especially that I play on mobile and I can't be playing. Well, I play on PC when I need to, but then I can't be playing on mobile both games at the same time. So.
Yeah, I guess you could do.
I'll probably keep my Raid account for a while because I have a really big account, and just to make sure Godforge is successful and it does well. But my French channel would just probably be on pause for a long time for now. And even then, I'm not, a French channel like mine, it's making $300 a month, but it's so much work to make $300 a month. I'm not losing anything really if I stop my French channel. It's more of a sentimental thing than losing anything really,
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of us don't tend to get insight into the finances behind it, but I know just hitting that magical 1,000 sub number doesn't suddenly mean that this is your job, right? So even at the 10,000 plus number, I don't think for most people this is your job.
No, and it's funny because my channel, and I've always been super transparent. I can't tell you how many times I've made videos telling people how much money I make on YouTube, honestly. But
interesting.
when I had, like I said, earlier on with Red, there was a lot more players. So when I had just a couple thousand subscribers, I was making, as much money as the channel is making now with 15,000 subscribers. Even though I probably tripled in subscribers, it's making the same amount of money because there's just less players and probably less people watching, and it's just leftover subscribers from 6 years of doing it, you know, that don't really watch anything. So the views are probably lower than they were when I had, 5,000 subscribers. So having that 1,000 subscribers and doesn't mean anything really.
Yeah, it's a trigger for monetization, but it doesn't actually mean that the channel's making any money.
Absolutely not. Especially in French, with YouTube you have the whatever they call it, the cost per thousand or revenue per thousand views or whatever, and the gaming industry is not necessarily the best for that, and also in French it's way lower than it is in English, for instance. So yeah.
When you mentioned that you were into fitness and games that weren't necessarily on the mobile phone, were you considering doing a YouTube channel for something else before you ended up doing it on Raid?
No, because I've always liked making content, but no, I just started Raid just because it was kind of the right opportunity. I just jumped in right when the game came out. I was like, oh, there's something I could do with this. But then over the years, you then you have a full-time job. It's hard to just be like, I'm just going to do content or something else. And I tried. I do have a little TikTok channel where I make, over the years it changed, but back then I was making a couple funny videos that got millions of views, but then I kind of stopped and used it for my Destiny content. And recently I've been using it kind of doing French videos about the US, basically, kind of showing French people what the US is like. But then it's kind of like, just don't have time or the motivation,
Yeah.
And that's why it's like with my job and the gym and I have a dog. We like with my wife. We're like super active. We like to do stuff on the weekends. So it's kind of like I can focus on one thing. I can have one thing and it's gonna be Godforge and that's it for now. I can't be like spreading myself thin and do a bunch of stuff.
So clearly you knew about Godforge, I'm sure, because of Raid and Ash and Hell Hades and whatnot. Do the French viewers watch a lot of Hell Hades and Ash and just use subtitles, basically?
I couldn't tell you.
No?
I couldn't
Okay.
tell you. A lot of French don't speak English.
Yeah.
So I think even with subtitles, I think they mostly just watch the French.
Interesting.
I'm
Okay.
probably one of the rare ones that only watch English content. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
French not much.
it's such a baked community, the Raid content creator community. Like it's so dialed in at this point, especially for any of the ones who haven't quit already, because a lot of them quit over time. But I didn't know if that translated to like a worldwide presence, right? Because YouTube now, it'll subtitle anything for you, so you can kind of watch a video in any language you want to. It's a really interesting time in life.
Yeah, it also does the dubbed or whatever, the AI voice. You can just change it. Like there was a guy in my Godforge video actually. He came to the Discord and he was like, "Hey, can you activate the voice doubling in Russian or whatever it was?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, it's actually on, but it takes day, and especially I think it's especially slow when like I have an accent, obviously." So I think it's taking even longer for the AI to change the voice and stuff. So I have videos where I think it's dubbing, whatever it's called, auto dubbing. It's been processing for days to translate it to other languages, But yeah, it's crazy now. And now they also make it to where it's kind of still in beta, but they also make it to where they can actually change the language, but also start matching your voice as well, which is really cool. But I
Interesting.
think it's more for like bigger creators that they do it right now.
That's a really interesting thought, because I wonder if you have to consent to that, because clearly if the AI can have your voice, that means that something trained the model with your voice, which means that it's probably like you lost your rights to it somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I was watching a fitness guy the other day. He is like the biggest YouTuber in France now, and he started like a fitness channel way back then. But I I'm watching, and I guess because I'm the US, sometimes it automatically changed the language for me, and it was like him speaking English, but it was obviously AI, but it was still his own voice, and I was like, oh wow, how do you do that? But yeah, I think it's just in beta right now. It's not available for everybody for sure. Which is it's cool for me because I've actually had a bunch of French. Because originally I was going to do some French content on Godforge as well, and I told them I can't do it. So I told them, hey, you can. A couple of them actually told me like, yeah, we'll just watch and change the voice to French basically. So pretty cool.
There you go. You 10,000 will follow you,
Yeah, I
even
know
if they
about
don't
10,
speak
but
English.
yeah.
You said you still have an accent. How long have you been? You understand English like perfectly, right? So like, how long
Yeah.
have you been at this level of fluency before you moved, or did it take a while after you moved?
So it took a minute, but basically, when you're 18 in France, you're done with high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I actually went to a school in England, in Oxford, England, and it was just an
Okay.
English school. So I spent 6 months learning English, um, which was pretty cool. When you get there, you do an English test to kind of to see your level. I was at the bottom, like I was like one of the worst students that day. And then when you finish school after 6 months, if you've been a good student, they kind of have you in an advanced or whatever level. I ended up at one of the top level. So I actually really learn all the basics of English, like the grammar and all the tenses, like was the past, present, whatever, all the tenses and all that stuff. But I learned a lot of the basics there, and then went back to France, and I was actually able to through my school I was able to go work at Disney World Orlando in the US,
Oh, okay.
which was my first time in the US. That's where I met my wife.
Cool.
But once I got there, uh, that's where the English level, where I started speaking even better. Just because when I returned from England, I was my English I was pretty fluent then. After this, but then you kind of lose it a little bit just because I wasn't for maybe a year and a half. I didn't practice very much. So then when I got the opportunity to go to the US for the first time, I took it, and I actually had to do a bunch of tests and interviews with Disney in English, and everything went well. And as soon as I got there, and you have to speak English every day, it just helped a ton for sure. So after a few months in Orlando, I was pretty fluent for sure.
Nice. Orlando and Austin. Have you lived anywhere outside of the South in the United States?
I spent a summer in Colorado. I loved
Oh, there
Colorado.
you go. There you
Oh
go.
yeah, my wife and I would love to move there. We just both have good jobs here in Austin right now, so and we kind of just changing our job. I give my notice to my current job, and I have 2 more days with them, and then I'm swapping
Oh,
job,
wow.
and my wife's starting a new job in about a week from now too. So we're just starting like really good careers here in Austin, but we really. I grew up on an island in France. I didn't grow up on the mainland. I grew up on an island, which is basically a big mountain surrounded by the sea. So I've always been, 5 minutes from the water, 5 minutes from the mountains.
Yeah.
So we kind of, and my wife, she kind of followed me with all that stuff. So we've kind of always liked, Florida, Colorado, Montana. We went to Yellowstone, all that stuff. We loved it up there. Hawaii, anywhere where you have water and mountains, we really like it. So
Yeah, yeah.
all the expensive states, really. But,
I've lived in 3 of the same states. I lived in Orlando for like 6 months. I didn't
okay.
last long though because I can't take the humidity.
Oh yeah, it was rough. That's why we wouldn't move to Florida, just because of the rain, to the unpredictability of the
Yeah.
weather. Can ruin your day. So
How cold did Austin get on this last winter storm that was supposed to shut down the country?
well, it's melting right now. Everything's melting. I told my wife not to drive to work this morning, but right now it's 2:30 p.m. out here, and everything's melting, and
Hmm.
probably be back to work tomorrow. So It just lasted for 2 days. It got to the 20s, I think. It was like 19
Oh, it's not
degrees
bad.
yesterday, which for us is really cold. But
Yeah.
I guess it's not too bad when if it's not windy, it's not bad at all. As soon as there's a tiny bit of wind, that's why it gets rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shuts down operations in Texas, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, people can't drive if there's a little bit of rain. So imagine with snow and ice. People can't do it.
Do you miss France? Are you super stoked being in the U.S.? Like, where's your head at on all that?
No, I'm super stoked to be in the US. I love it here, honestly. I think, no offense to anybody, but I think a lot of, and it's mostly from what you see on social media, but I think a lot of Americans don't realize how good of a life they have or they can have here compared to other countries. Yes, France has free healthcare, but there are a lot of other flaws, and healthcare is not really free if you think about it. But no, I love it here. I do think that because of the island I'm from, and I do love the island. I kind of grew up just going on a boat with my dad every weekend spearfishing, and I really miss that.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that once we get older, maybe we'll go back, or if we can get in a couple of years, we can invest on a little apartment or something that we can have and just go for the summer and see my family, and I can go spearfishing or fishing or whatever. That'll be great. We'll love to do it, but long term, I probably wouldn't live there right now. Just mostly for economical reasons, and my
The
wife.
island or France in general?
Not just France in general.
Oh, okay.
Like I think the money you can make here in the U.S. with just very basic jobs. It's hard to explain, but basically, cost of living is not necessarily more expensive here, unless maybe you live in California or something. But at least if you take Texas, there are going to be things that are more expensive, others that are less expensive, and really, if you make the right decision, it can be pretty close in terms of cost of living. But the difference between wages and salaries and how much money you can make is a lot higher here, 100%. So like just to give you an example, my wife she's starting a new job. She's becoming a nurse practitioner, but she's been a nurse this whole time. And my mom was actually a nurse in France as well. She's been a nurse for 20 years. Now she has her own little business. But, after 20 years, when my wife started being a nurse here, she was earning double that what my mom was earning in France after 20 years, for instance. So when you earn double, and the cost of living is similar, you can have a much easier life here. Yeah.
And then culturally, do you find it to be much different? Because one of the things Scratch and I talked about on the recent episode I did with Scratch is how between the internet and just, culture seeping out everywhere, everything's kind of becoming homogenized. He's like, everybody dresses the same. Doesn't matter where you are, what country you're in, everybody dresses the same. Do you think that by 2026 there's massive differences in the culture?
I don't. Yes and no. Like when I came here, I was not shocked by any differences. Honestly, I was pretty. I guess I was just expecting I didn't notice a lot of differences. When my family came and visit, they also really liked it here, and they weren't like shocked by anything. But there are definitely differences for sure. But I don't know. It didn't shock me, and nothing shocked me in any ways. I guess the one thing maybe is we're not, but my wife's family, like the grandparents and stuff, were kind of like ultra Christian from East Texas.
Okay.
So that was kind of when I got there. We eat dinner with grandma, and suddenly we'll just everybody would hold a hand before dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
And the first time I was like, well, what's happening? Like, what are we doing here, you know? So there was a few things like that, but it's really, you know, if you just take Texas, it's bigger than France, right?
Is it really?
Yeah, just Texas is bigger than France.
I gotta pull up
It's like a
maps.
time and a half the size of France. So, you know, there's definitely going to be different states and parts of the U.S. where the culture is definitely going to be a bit more shocking, I guess.
Yeah, it's
But
funny whenever
also, sorry, when I first came, I went to Orlando, which is there's so many international people living there because
Yeah.
of the parks. Same with Miami and stuff. A lot of, you know, people like when I moved to East Texas, I'm probably the only French out there, you know. So definitely a bit of some culture shock there, but it really depends on where you go, I guess.
I know when I talk to a lot of the guys in the UK, they seem to like think that like a 4 hour drive or something like that is like a long drive. Like driving from,
Yeah.
you know, southern coast to Scotland is like, oh my God, that's a journey. But, you know, for instance, here you drive across Montana, you mentioned Montana, you drive across Montana, it's 14 hours to drive, you know,
Yeah.
from one side of Montana to the other. And we're just driving all over the place.
Oh, absolutely, and I love it. I mean, that was the first. That was when I came to Orlando too. We drove at some point to Georgia, from Florida to Georgia, and it was like 8 hours, I think, wherever, because we went past Atlanta and all that stuff. I can't remember where we went exactly, but and it was 8 hours, and it was probably my first time in the car for so long. But it was so fun. I had a blast. And since then, when I moved here, you know, I'm in Austin. My wife's parents, they live about 5 hours from here in East Texas. So it just takes 5 hours to go from, you know, South Central Texas to East Texas, I guess, because they're almost at the border with Louisiana. So it's a long drive. And when I went to Colorado too, that summer that I spent there, we went all the way from East Texas and we drove up there, and it was like 15 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say 16, but yeah, 15. Wow.
But it's fun. It's fun, and we go to Florida every summer for vacation too, and it's like 10-hour drive from Austin. But I guess you get used to it, you know.
Yeah, one of my best friends lives in Austin. My best friend lives in Houston, and I rarely go to Austin, but I'll go to Houston at least once or twice a year. And it's gotten to the point where we go to Houston to eat now because Houston has like some of the best restaurants in the entire country. And I'm convinced that it's because there's nothing else. There's literally nothing to do in Houston. And there's 20 million people. So all
And
they
it's
do is eat.
massive. It's so big. Every time when we go to Florida, I mean, we cross Houston, and it takes us hours just to cross it. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's so big. Yeah. No, we love Austin. It's nice for sure.
Have you gotten into doing the lake stuff? There's a bunch of lakes over there.
Yeah, we did a couple times. A lot of people go to Lady Bird Lake, which is, you know, the lake that's crossing Austin, but and they just all kind of go like paddleboarding, and kind of in the middle of the lake you have like a shallow area. So in the summer you have hundreds of paddleboarders that just like gather all together, and they just
Cool.
hang out. But I don't know, the water's kind of nasty. So
That's what happens when hundreds of people just hang out all day in the water.
yeah, for sure, yeah. But yeah, it is. I think there's like toxic algae or whatever, and you technically not allowed to swim in the lake, which it's a lake, but I guess it's more of a river than a lake. I don't know why they call it Lake Austin or whatever, or Lady Bird Lake, but it's more of a river, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not super fun to go swimming and stuff. So
If you're paddleboarding, you're
one
getting
of my
wet.
things was I want to move to Austin because I want to go do all the water stuff, you know. But I'd really been here a couple of years, and we did we tried a few things, but nothing crazy yet. So yeah,
Can you take cold water? Are you a cold water person?
I love cold water. I used to do cold plunges every day.
I was gonna say, because if you go to Colorado, or if you come up northwest and you're paddleboarding, you're gonna be cold.
I bet they actually have here in Austin. They have I think it's called the Button Creek Pool, maybe. And it's basically they took a part of the river and they kind of blocked it to where now it's like a massive natural pool and you can swim in it.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like you have to pay, of course, but people go there to swim. And the water is frigid all year round. Even middle of the summer, 100 degrees, the water stays super, super cold. And it's really fun. It's really fun. But
When you
you know,
were
a lot of people.
when you were spearfishing, I haven't actually ever done spearfishing. I grew up on the water as well, and we had
Okay.
one of those like slingshot sort of guns that shoots the spear or whatever. But that's a pretty like low barrier of entry sport, right? It's just like a snorkel mask, a little like dart gun, and you can go ham.
I mean, it depends. Like technically, yes, you can just have a spear gun and snorkel gear and just go in the shallows and do your thing. But when you take it a bit more seriously, it's definitely not entry level.
Oh, okay.
Because we would go from the shore, but most of the time we would just go take the boat somewhere. And you would just use those what I don't know how it's called on the boat, but the radar thing they have to see the depth and whatnot.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
know what you call those.
radar, lidar, all of that.
So we would go at sea, and my dad would just have some places mapped out that he knew from years of doing it, to where now you're not anywhere by the shore anymore. You're just in the middle of the sea, and you just happen to have like a rock that comes up, and that's pretty shallow technically, but you still have 10, 20, 30 meters. I don't know about all the American metric stuff, but
Yeah, 30, 60, 90 feet.
yeah, well, so when you go out there with the boat, you have to anchor the boat somehow, make sure you don't lose the boat, and then you're supposed to have all the gear with the suit and the right weight. Based on your weight, you have to put a belt with actual weight so that you can sink down pretty easily, but you can also come back up and stay up, because the suit makes you float a little bit. So you kind of have to compensate and have some weight around so you can dive. Obviously, you gotta be able to hold your breath for a while.
So you're not doing that with scuba. You're going 20, 30 meters deep without scuba gear.
Yeah. Well, my dad, I wasn't going that deep, but my dad was for sure. Yeah. And then you have the pressure of the water, messing up with your ears. You got to deal with that. And then you also have to know you have a lot of protected fish in France, so you have to know what you can actually shoot and what you can't shoot. So it's a lot. Yeah. If you want to do it seriously, it's a lot for sure.
So did you grow up playing games, or did you grow up doing stuff like that with your dad, fishing and all that?
Both really.
Yeah.
I would go fishing on the weekend, but then during the week, school or not, I would stay up until 2 a.m. and I would just play Call of Duty or Skyrim or whatever it was back then. Yeah.
It's so funny to me how many raid content creators have played first-person shooters, like semi-seriously. Like
Yeah.
every single person mentions Call of Duty or Destiny, at least one of the two.
100%. I think when I was a kid, I played Skyrim a lot and Call of Duty. These were kind of my two main games. And then as I grew up, I just spent, then you kind of find a couple games that, as long as they keep bringing content, it's the game you like and you're going to keep playing them forever. And that was kind of me with Destiny. Now I'm stopping just because of lack of time. But I was also never the type of, as a kid, yes, but even as I grew up, I was never the kind of kid who would just, lock himself up and just play all day,
Mm-hmm.
I would play 2, 3, 4 hours at the most and be like, okay, I'm done. I want to get out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go touch grass. Go touch ocean.
Yeah. Something.
The running the channel the way that you have, building a channel from nothing over 6 years, I think, probably you put into that 6 years. What advice do you have for the other content creators in the Godforge program that are really just getting started? Like this is their first game, their first time running a channel.
100%. I do have a couple actually. The first one is definitely to find your niche. The mistake I made with my French channel, which was a mistake again because I never treated it as I was never like, I'm going to do this full time or whatever. It was just for fun. But so it wasn't really a mistake. But if you want to take it seriously, keep it niche, 100%. And when you say niche, a lot of people think stay in the same genre of game, which you could be successful having a Raid and Godforge channel because it's the same similar game, attracting a similar audience. But unless you're a really big content creator already, I don't think that applies. I think if you want to be successful, you just pick one game, and as long as the game is somewhat successful and you produce great content, you just have to stick with that game, really. If you look at the Raid content creators, Hey Ladies and Ash, they just did Raid and they sticked with Raid. That's all they did. Even though, once in a while you have the little, obviously, sponsorship opportunity, you make it on another game, but you just stick to the same game. And I guess my mistake maybe, and I've seen it over the past couple of years too, where, because I was doing multiple games, when I would have a month or two where like there was not a lot happening with Raid, but there was a lot happening with Destiny, I would do a lot more Destiny content. I would lose a little bit of my Raid audience that would probably go watch somebody else's video, basically. So yeah, I would. That's really definitely the big thing is anywhere you look, they would tell you it's fine to do multi-gaming as long as it's the same type of games. But even then, I don't think it really applies. I think you just need to stick with one game. If you don't want to, if you want to do another game, whatever it is, do another channel. Because the algorithm is just driven by that, really. So now just having something that's only Godforge, it's going to be a lot better to just push your content to people that are actually really interested in your content. Instead of just spreading yourself thin and trying to make the algorithm understand that you're doing this game, and then they have to go find people to watch, and it's not as good as just doing one game, really. That's the biggest one. Other thing I would say is a lot of people always say the quality, the gear you have, all that stuff is not super important. I do think it is. I do think that obviously the content itself is going to be very important. I could have very high quality content and say nonsense, and eventually people will see that. And regardless of how good my quality is, they'll stop watching, or they just catch that whatever I'm doing is nonsense. But I do think as long as the content you are doing is good value, I do think you should try to match the quality a little bit. And I'm saying that because I'm seeing a lot of the Godforge content creator having pretty bad quality stuff. In terms of, I'm not saying you have to have the best camera. I have a pretty crappy camera, but I'm not saying you have to have the best camera, the green screen, all that stuff. But because you are competing with other creators that have decent quality stuff, usually they're gonna go for the quality stuff first, and as long as you're giving them good content, they'll stick with you, Yeah. And honestly, all of my stuff, I've upgraded over the years, but I've bought the cheapest stuff on Amazon possible. I had the same ring light for 6 years, very basic $50 mic, and it works, You don't need anything crazy. And games like Godforge and Raid, you don't need a big PC to play those.
Yeah.
So you can make it look good with pretty small investment for sure.
Yeah. And I forgot to ask you earlier, do you stream? Do you do any live streaming, or is it just YouTube videos?
Yeah, no, for sure. Live streaming is tricky. That's also another tip I would say. Again, if you have limited time, put it all on your YouTube videos. Don't waste time with streaming. Streaming is fun. If it's just for fun, that's fine. If you actually want to build a little bit of a community and a YouTube channel and all that stuff, put all of your effort into YouTube. Once you have it going well and it's kind of, it kind of match your expectations, then you can start doing some live stream. So right now, I try to, when Godforge out, I'm going to try to do at least one live stream every weekend, but that'll be it. It's just going to be one live stream, or maybe 2 to 3 hours at the most. And as that, it's only if I have time, really. But you can't, especially if you have a full-time job, you can't do good quality videos and make enough videos and also spend, 5 days a week doing streaming. Then it's too much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been surprised with how long just a podcast episode takes me. There's certainly ways to do it faster, but to get the audio mixed correctly, to kind of go through, to edit for pacing, when it's necessary, working a full-time job, it's actually somewhat challenging to commit to one episode a week. So people that are doing 2-3 videos a day, if they're also working a full-time job, I have no idea how they do it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that it takes you so long, honestly. But the good thing about this type of games is that the edit is pretty minimal, usually. It really depends, of course, type of video. But, if I'm doing a video on Athena just got a buff, that's super easy. Like, I just read the old kit, I read the new kit, and I'm telling you, yeah, this is a lot better, or it's not. And making the thumbnails pretty easy as well, and that's super easy. Now, when you make like a tier list video, that takes a lot more time, It really depends on the video you make. And I found out with Raid, for instance, over 6 years, there's only been a handful of videos that take me a lot to edit. I used to do like Raid coaching, where I'd get on a call with people and spend an hour helping them out. Or even like sometimes I would take a stream that I did and there was a part of it that I wanted to use for a video. Those, you have to put them on your software, and maybe they last 30 minutes to an hour, and you have to watch the whole thing and edit and all that stuff. And those take a lot of time. But for this type of games, they're pretty rare, in my opinion. Usually it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy editing, really. But then when you upload to YouTube, you do want to, it's another tip, I guess, too, but you do want to try to do, obviously, a good thumbnail, but then a little bit of SEO as well for Godforge.
Titles.
Yeah, find a good title. Even if you use, AI to do ChatGPT or whatever, which is mostly what I do with my description, because nobody reads the description. Nobody cares. Just put in ChatGPT, tell it what your video is about. Change it up, because half of the time it's crap, but it's giving you a good, base that you can just edit on and just put a few lines with a couple keywords in it. The chapters too, where you have the chapters in the timestamps. I think those are very important. I can't tell you how many videos, just because I know what the video is about and I'm looking for that one information, I may not want to watch the whole thing. I may just want that one information if I don't have the timestamps. And it's a 40-minute video. If you're doing a tier list and it's a 40-minute video and I just want your opinion on Athena, I want to know in your video where Athena is,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I know what you mean about the mobile game is easier, right? Because when I did the how to play video on Godforge quests, that probably took me, I don't know, 30 minutes to film it, 30, 40. But like the how to play Mega Bonk video that I did took hours and hours and hours, because I have to go play a match, screen cap a bunch of footage, not do everything that I wanted to do, so then go play another match specifically to do this one thing. Then you got to hunt through all that footage and your timestamps.
100%.
It takes way longer.
That's also why I kind of gave up on doing Destiny content, and it was kind of tough because the Destiny 2 in French, there were not a lot of content creators that were like really good. They're like putting out really good content, and that's why I started doing it, because I was like, wow, it's missing so much content that I think I could actually do something with this, and it did do pretty well for me. To give you an example, like some of the raid video, they get between 1,000 to 3,000 views at the most. With some of my Destiny video, they would get between 3 and 10, sometimes even more thousand. And for French, it's actually really good. But with Destiny, the videos would just take me way too long. Because again, some quest you have to do to go get an exotic weapon, for instance, it takes you hours to do the quest for yourself. And this whole time you're recording everything. And then you have to go in and cut and edit and all that stuff. And sometimes it would take me days to just make a video on a quest. But then you have other creators that they don't have the same job as I do, or maybe they just do YouTube full time, so they would just do it a lot quicker than me, you know. And something that took me a week to do something, in a day or two they would have it out on the YouTube channel, and then it's like the, you know, competition is there, unfortunately. So then my video is irrelevant, and it took me a week to do it, you know. So
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, like, if, let's say you're getting to a moderate level of success, and now logically you would think, well, if I could hire an editor, then I can make more content and whatnot. But if you're getting $200 a month, I mean, you
Exactly.
can't pay an editor, right?
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I can't tell you how many people reach out to me to do my thumbnails, and they're like, "Yeah, it's $20 a thumbnail or whatever it is." And I'm like, "Look, if my channel suddenly makes $1,000 a month, yeah, I'll you know, $1,000 a month is probably enough for me to have you do my thumbnails. But with $300-400 a month or whatever, 200, like I can't hire you, you know."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Well,
tricky.
let's talk about our last topic, which is music, and then we'll wrap it up for everybody. But tell me about music in your life. Is there something that a way it's affected you, or are you a musician yourself?
I'm not a musician at all. I've always wanted to learn piano. I never did. Just lack of time. I think I will do it one day for sure. Just get a piano and learn it. But I'm not really a musician, you know. But I do listen to music every day. In the car. Back in Europe, I was taking transport sometimes, so you had to add AirPods or earbuds or whatever, for sure. And at the gym every day, for sure. Listening to music every single day. Even I work from home a lot, so every day I just, you know, turn on my computer and start Spotify, and I'm working and chilling and listening to music at the same time. So,
What's your gym music? What gets you like hyped?
so there's a I guess he's French. There's a French guy called Rylis.
Right.
I could not even describe the type of music it is. It's very unique, but he sings in English, and he got very popular over the past couple of years. I couldn't even tell you what type of music it is, but I really like his songs for sure. He's one of my favorite artists for sure.
From Rhone or Rhone?
So it's Riles.
And the E has an accent mark on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
And
never
he's
heard
like
of
a
this one.
curly hair guy.
It says hip hop, R&B, and pop. I'll have to check this out.
Yeah, and it's a bit of rap too, but just with really good melody and flow. You know, I really don't like rap where it's just cussing and just like. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like any rap that I listen to. I like it to also have some singing and a really good melody, and any music really. If I press play, and my head is doing this, then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna listen to this. I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah.
So you're more of like when you're working out, you want to be in that zone of just like a constant where you're not even really paying attention, or it's not like getting your adrenaline up or anything.
Yeah,
It's just
no.
like
And honestly, like
being in the flow.
I did CrossFit for 6 years, and I just stopped just
Oh,
because
yeah.
you know, my new job is at a regular gym really, so I kind of stopped CrossFit doing that. But even then, like every day, the coaches would be like, "Hey, what kind of music you guys want to listen to?" I'm like, "Yo, I don't care. Like, music or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just start the workout. Let's go." I really don't. I do put my you know, when I work out, I do listen to my own music, but I couldn't care less if I had music in my ears or not when I'm working out. Really.
No.
Yeah.
CrossFit, I love CrossFit. I tend to hate the CrossFit music because it's always
Yeah.
like Godsmack, Puddle of Mud, all these like
It's
late
actually the
90s, early
hardest job of the
2000s.
coach, you know.
Just picking the
Every
music.
every coach I've ever talked to, they're like, the hardest part of the job is finding a good playlist that people actually like. And it's the same now. I work for a gym. I mean, we didn't mention that earlier, but I'm a marketing director for a gym here in Austin. They have 3 locations, and they all say, like all the staff, they also like the hardest thing is literally picking the playlist, because you know, half the gym's gonna like it, the other half is not gonna like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no
Some
matter what
people
you do.
want like hardcore rock, and some people just want something chill in the background. You know.
I'm a for a long time, I've been a snowboarder. I've been out of commission for a couple of years because I hurt my knee. But when I was snowboarding a lot in Colorado, when I was in Colorado, um, originally growing up skateboarding and being in the punk rock scene, I listened to just a ton of punk.
Okay.
And what I thought to myself mentally was like, it gets me amped up. So I'll just be like super energetic with it. But in a way, it was almost like dirty, like I was too amped up. And
Okay.
I was noticing at the time, more and more of the snowboarders around me were listening to more and more hip hop. And one day I was like, well, I'm just going to try listening to the hip hop that I like all day. And I put on Tribe Called Quest and I listened to hip hop. It was like the first time I'd ever listened to hip hop snowboarding. And I was infinitely better. Like that
Yeah.
day, I was so much better than every day before that. And it was like because I was in the rhythm and I
Oh
wasn't paying
yeah.
attention to the
100%.
energy level, you know?
I'm sure it affects you for sure. Funny things, I was big into snowboarding too. Big. I never did crazy like backflip and stuff, but
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I
You could
did a
still
lot
be
of
big.
snowboarding, especially when I was a teenager. Because in France, it's a pretty small country technically. Well, it's a big country for Europe, but you can. I was living by when I was studying. I was living in the south of France, but you're only like 2 hours away from the Alps. So like
Mm.
every weekend I would just drive up to the mountain and go snowboarding.
Oh, that's fun.
And when I moved to the US, I also injured my knee
Mm.
playing ultimate frisbee.
Oh,
Cut the frisbee landing, and I've been living with a meniscus tear for a couple of years. I did a lot of rehab and strengthening on my own, and now I'm fine. I can do everything, but it is scary. I haven't been snowboarding since then, but sometimes it's a little scary. Like I did try wakeboarding, and I kind of tweak it again. So
yeah, yeah.
unlike snowboarding, I would try again, see how I feel, but at any point I know I can tweak my knee again for sure.
If you've got friends with a boat, you should try wake surfing.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
think if you fall, you're not going to hurt your knee, right? It's
No,
such
yeah,
a
you just
lazy
on the water.
sport.
Yeah. Yeah, because the wakeboarding and the snowboarding, your feet are like, tied together to
Yeah.
the board. So, yeah.
And the speed you're going means that when you catch an edge, there's a large amount of resistance. But like wake surfing, you're not tied to it and you're not going fast.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
the only way you hurt your knee is if you do something completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. What else? Music wise, just if you wanted something else, music. Since I moved to the US, I'm really enjoying country music. That's really
Really?
something. I guess also tying into the culture, I guess. But
They're
when we
Texifying you.
yeah, so when I first moved to Orlando, and I was a bit younger then, so we would go to the bars and nightclub and all that stuff. So we would listen to Spanish music a lot, reggaeton. So that's one of my favorite style of music that I still really enjoy. Nicky Jam, all that stuff. But then when we went to Colorado that summer, I listened to "Take Me Home" by John Denver for the first time. Pretty old country song, but I really loved it. And I guess what I liked about a lot of the songs is that unless the singer has a really deep accent or whatever, is that they're very easy to understand. Like you can very easily understand all the lyrics, which back then my English wasn't. I was already fluent, but even now when I listen to songs, sometimes I don't fully understand what they're saying, But with something like Country Road, I was like, oh, I really like it. I like the melody, and I can understand everything. And I'm driving 15 hours to Colorado, nice views, and I can sing the song, So I really liked it. And since then, I really like country songs. Chris Stapleton is kind of
Oh, yeah.
one that I really like. And then I kind of like a bit more of the more, I guess, country pop. I guess more modern songs. Like Zach Bryan and who else is there? Morgan Wallen,
Grimes.
all those guys, But yeah, I have a dedicated playlist, and I listen to it almost every day, really.
I appreciate you coming by the show. Anything that you want to talk about that you got coming up, or just we'll post the channel down in the comments for everybody?
Nothing coming up, really. We're just just waiting on the game now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I guess just to finish on the game, there are a few things. I think I'm gonna have a video on it tomorrow, but a couple of things that, not that I'm worried about it, but a couple of things I think they need to clean up, you know, and like we have there's a lot of discussion right now about imprint stacking and all that stuff, which
Yeah.
couple buff, you know, and all that. That's a bit confusing right now. That I feel like even they're not sure about, you know.
Yeah.
So definitely have to see how that goes, and I just hope they don't rush it, you know. And if they have to push it back a couple weeks, then it is what it is. But nothing new on my hand. Just trying to find some ideas of content for the next month until the game comes out, and that's that. That's it right now.
100 people trying to figure out what to make videos on for a game that isn't even out yet.
Exactly. But that's the beauty of it, is the game is not even out yet, and we have, you know, channels that are growing, and people are interested in the videos. So it's pretty cool feeling. So I just hope they deliver, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just hope Hell Hades is alive after the game comes out, because I'm pretty sure he's working like 18 hours a day right now.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
We're right on, dude. Well, once again, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate your time. Everybody check out Romsy. And thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Peace.